All right, ladies and gentlemen, solving systems of equations, level 2. Okay, so this is the continuation of what we were doing on the last lesson. Okay, except now we have to multiply both equations. Okay, now let's take a look here. Notice how it's written. It's not written one above the other. It's just written like this: x minus 3y equals 1, and the other one there. Okay, so first thing we want to do is line them up so that they're both in vertical position. Okay, so here we have x minus 3y equals 1, and then 2x plus 2y equals 18. Okay, and then underline it. Okay, so that's the first step. Now notice here, we're looking for matching terms, matching like terms. We have the 3 and the 2 there, those do not match. And then we have the 1, invisible 1, and the 2 do not match. Okay, and so the easiest one to multiply here to make them matching are the x's. Okay, so notice here I have a 1 and then a 2 there. So I can just multiply this one by 2, this whole entire equation there. I'm going to multiply it by 2. But notice here, if I multiply by 2, that'll give me a positive 2x. And I already have a positive 2x. So since they're already the same sign, I'm just going to make this a negative 2 instead. That way, when I distribute all the way across, my matching terms will be opposite. So notice here, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3y is going to be a positive 6y. And then a negative 2 times a 1 is going to be a negative 2. Okay? Bring this one right over. And then we end up with 2x plus 2y equals 18. Notice we didn't multiply this by anything. We just rewrote it the way it was. If you say you wanted to multiply by something but leave it the same, then you would just multiply by 1. But really, multiplying by 1 does not make any difference here. Let me just erase that there. So notice here, it's the same as if I had multiplied both equations, one by negative 2 and the bottom one by a positive 1. But really, that was not necessary. Okay, so here these two x's cancel out because they are opposite now. And now I can go ahead and add 6y and 2y makes 8y. And then 18 minus 2 is 16. Okay, now divide by 8. And then we get y equals 2. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Okay, now remember, now we take this here, this value here, and plug it into one of the original equations, whichever one you want. I'll just choose the bottom one here. So I'm going to rewrite the bottom equation, 2x plus 2y equals 18. And then since we're going to be substituting for y, we got to put it under the y there. So it'll be like this, 2x plus 2 times what? 2, right, equals 18. That's what we are substituting. Y is 2, y equals 2. Okay, so now you just simplify here. 2x plus 4 equals 18. Subtract 4, and then we get 2x equals 18 minus 4 is 14. Okay, divided by 2. And then we get x equals 7. So there are my two answers there. And let's put them in order, as an ordered pair. We have 7, 2. Okay, so notice here, it's not 2, 7, it's 7, 2. X goes first. Okay, next one. Let's rewrite it so that they're in vertical form. So 3x minus 3y equals negative 9. And then right here we have negative 6x plus 8y equals 6. Okay. Again, let's look for matching terms. We don't have any. Can we change 3 into an 8? Nope. What about 3 into a 6? Yes. Multiplying by 2, right? 3 times 2 would give us the 6. Now notice they're already opposite. The 3x was positive and the 6x was negative. So there's no need to multiply this by a negative here. Okay? Because they're already opposite. So I can multiply by a positive 2 and that'll be it. So 2 times 3x will be 6x. 2 times negative 3y is negative 6y. 2 times negative 9 is going to be negative 18. Okay? And then we have this one, just bring it right over. So it'll be negative 6x plus 8y equals 6. Okay. And then these cancel. And so I have 8y minus 6y is 2y. And then negative 18 plus 6, that's going to be negative 12. Okay. Divide by 2. Y equals negative 6. So that's one of my answers there. I got to find now the other variable. Plug it into one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the bottom one here. So it'll be negative 6x plus 8 y equals 6. And then since I'm going to be substituting for y, I'm going to draw a little arrow under the y. And then inside the parentheses, I'm going to put negative 6. Okay, so let's rewrite everything else down. Negative 6x plus 8 times negative 6 equals 6. And then we have to multiply these two. So we get negative 6x minus 48 equals 6. Add 48 to both sides. So we end up with negative 6x equals 48 plus 6, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, right? So 54 divided by negative 6. And so we get x equals, now 54 divided by negative 6, that's going to be a negative 9, okay? So my answer as an ordered pair is going to be negative 9, negative 6. Okay? So far we've only had to multiply both equations by one number. Okay, notice that one does not count, the 1, and it's the same as right here. It would be as if I multiply this one by 1, but nothing changed, so I didn't need to write it that way. But let's take a look at the next examples here. We have negative 3x plus 7y equals negative 18, and then 4x minus 4y equals 8. All right, what about this next one here? We have negative 3x plus 7y equals negative 18, and then 4x minus 4y equals 8. Okay? So notice here, we don't have any matching terms. And then if I try to multiply a number to make this into a 4, it won't work. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and times 2 will be negative 6, so that's not going to work. Same thing here with the 4 and the 7. So when this happens, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to multiply both equations to turn one of these terms into matching terms, okay? So I like to go with the two smaller set of numbers, the ones that are closer to one another, or you can do these here, right? So for example, we need to look for the common multiple here between these two. The first number that they both have in common is 12. So that means I can multiply this by a 4 and that one by a 3. Or if I wanted to find the lowest common multiple of 7 and 4, it would be 28. So I can either change the y's into 28 so that they're both matching, or I could change the x's into 12. I like to go with the smaller of those two, so I'll go with 12. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to multiply this side by 4, that'll make it a negative 12, and this side by 3, that'll make it a positive 12. Notice how they're already opposite? So no need to change the sign here to multiply one of these by a negative. So let's go ahead and distribute here by their numbers here. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12x, and then plus 28y. Equals, and now 4 times 18, I'm going to go ahead and use the calculator here. 4 times 18 is going to be 72. So I get negative 72 because that was a negative times a positive. Okay. What about this one here? 3 times 4 is 12. So I get 12x. And then we have negative 12y equals 24. Okay. So I can go ahead and cancel now. I get the 12x's cancel, and then 28 minus 12, that's going to be 16y equals, now let's do 72 minus 24. I know that says negative 72, but I'm going to do 72 minus 24 anyway because we have to subtract, and then I'll just make it negative. Okay, so negative 48. Okay, divided by 16. We get y equals negative. What's 48 divided by 16? 3. Okay, so now plug it into one of these two equations, and so here we have here the bottom one, and we have 4x minus 4y equals 8. Let's go ahead and draw a little arrow underneath the y because that's what I'm going to be substituting here, and so it's going to be 4x minus 4 times negative 3 equals 8. And so I have 4x plus 12 because that's a negative times a negative. It's going to give me a positive. Equals 8. Subtract 12. And then I'm running out of room here, so it'll be 4x equals negative 4 divided by 4. And so I get x equals negative 1. Okay? Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. So it'll be negative 1, negative 3. That's my final answer. That's an ordered pair. Now, next one here. Let's do the same thing again here. So we have 4x minus 5y equals negative 6. And then negative 6x plus 7y equals 12. Again, notice here, non-matching and non-matching, and then I can't just multiply one of these to make it like the other one here. So I'm going to have to multiply both equations, okay? So notice here, what would be the first or the lowest common multiple of 4 and 6? Not 24, there's a smaller one there. It would be 12, right? 4 times 3 is 12, negative 6 times 2 would be negative 12. If I was picking 7 and 5, the first one would be 35, right? So I'm going to go with the 12 here. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 3 and this by 2. Notice here, they're already opposite. So again, I can just leave those positive there so that they will remain opposites, okay? And so let's go ahead and distribute. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15y. And then 3 times negative 6 is going to be negative 18. And then here we have 2 times negative 6 is negative 12x plus 14y equals 24. Since they're opposites, I can cancel them. Notice here negative 15y and positive 14y, that's going to be a negative 1y. I'll just write negative y. And then what's 24 minus 18? That's just going to be 6. Okay. Go ahead and use the calculator to verify that. 24 minus 18 is 6. Okay. Now notice here, this is a negative y. I'm not done yet. Like over here, I had just y. A positive y equals negative 3. But this is not done yet. So I need to go ahead and just divide by a negative 1. So I get y equals negative 6. Now I'm done. See? Positive y equals negative 6. Now, let's plug it into one of these two. I'll pick the bottom one. I always pick the bottom one. Let's just pick the top one here. So we have 4x minus 5y equals negative 6. I'm going to draw a little arrow on the y. It'll be negative 6 right there. So it'll be 4x minus 5 times negative 6 equals negative 6. So we have 4x plus 30 equals negative 6. Subtract 30. 4x equals, and then we have negative 36. Divided by 4. X equals negative 9, okay? So our answer is going to be negative 9, negative 6. Okay? Last one. And if by this example you already know how to do it, you don't have to watch this. You can just start the delta math. But I'm going to do another example for anyone who needs it. So let's write this here. Negative 2x minus 9y equals 8. And then we have negative 5x minus 8y equals negative 9. Okay. Again, we don't have any matching terms, so I'm going to have to multiply both equations to make them matching. Okay. I'll go with the 2 and the 5 because you probably can already see it's going to be 10 that we're going to change these into, right? If I wanted to go with the 9 and the 8, I could. It would have to be, looks like 72. 72 would be the first common multiple of both of these. So I'm just going to stick with the 10 here. So I'm going to go here. Notice how they're the same sign, by the way. They're both negative, so I need to make one of these positive. So it'll be, let's see here. Let's just multiply this one by 5. That'll make it negative 10. And then I'm going to make this one negative 2, right? So I can multiply them and make positive 10. So that takes care of that. So this will be negative 10x minus 45y equals 40. And then here we get positive 10x plus 16y equals positive 18. Okay. 10x is cancelled. 45 minus 16, I need my calculator for that. 45 minus 16, that's going to be 29, but I'm going to make it negative 29 because there's more negatives there. 40 plus 18 is going to be 58 divided by negative 29 on both sides. Y equals, let's do that, 58 divided by 29. 58 divided by 29 is 2. But since one of them was negative, it's going to be a negative 2. Okay. So let's plug it in here. It's going to be, I'll just pick the bottom one here. So we have negative 5x minus 8y equals negative 9. I'm going to plug it on the y. So it'll be like this. Negative 5x minus 8 times negative 2 equals negative 9. And so we end up with negative 5x plus 16 equals negative 9. Subtract 16. Negative 5x equals negative 25 there, if you add those two. Right, because they're both negative, so you get negative 25. Divide by negative 5. You get x equals positive 5. So my answer is going to be 5, negative 2. And that's it.